Hello everyone and welcome back to another game on this channel. Today we're checking out some games here on the ranked ladder. Just catching some random games and let's hope we find something interesting. So we got a first game here. It's Hausa versus Brits. We got here in the northeast of the map. Der Bamschratskrat, something I definitely cannot pronounce. It's German, I would assume. And we got some other player here, which I don't really know how to pronounce as well. So, yeah, interesting matchup. This map's actually really nice. I really like playing house on this map. If you see this map, you always want to go for these treasures. There's always a really big XP treasure here by this river, and there's the same one on the other side. Yeah, you can see like the Brit player here actually crack shot one of them, and he's gonna try to like slowly wear that down. And if you want to, or if you can, you definitely want to try to steal the treasure from your opponent and then loop back and get your own one. And like getting some early raiders on this map is actually huge because, yeah, they'll just help you so much. But we got a bit of a coin treasure here for Hausa. This might be a good treasure actually. Yeah, 80 coin is quite easy to take, although I think these crocodiles are a lot stronger than the alligators. So one thing to keep in mind, they're a lot tougher than it may seem. You'll see how tough they actually are now. It looks like he's gonna go for it. Yeah, he actually decided to use the chaos ability, and I think that's a good choice. This treasure's gonna help him a lot. You want to keep them attacking each other for as long as possible, so it's kind of unnecessary to focus that one down, but I guess it lasts so short anyway that it didn't really matter in this case. But yeah, he's gonna get that treasure. Meanwhile, we got the British explorer. He just working on these hippos. I think it's gonna be very difficult for him to kill this one, but yeah, he has another crack shot, so now he's gonna be able to do it. And there's gonna be a huge amount of XP actually, and I mean, that kind of XP this early is actually so huge. Like, especially if he goes for the TP build. I don't think he's gonna do that though, because in that case we would have probably already seen TP by now. But he has 17 population here, and he's gonna be looking at aging very soon. He could even cancel this villager and age right now, but it's gonna be interesting to see what he uses. He doesn't have Virginia Company in this deck. I think when you get a shipment this early, Virginia Company is a great option because you'll really get it out early, and yeah, it's gonna help benefit you a lot. But he is gathering quite a lot of food here. Maybe he wants to get the wood upgrade, maybe he wants to get great coats. We'll see what he does. A lot of people on wood, pretty standard stuff. Meanwhile, let's look at Hausa, and Hausa hasn't even started aging up, and yeah, this just shows you how slow Hausa is to age up to age 2. If you don't want to have some idle time and just wait for the age up, you have to go for the 15 village up. It's really difficult to get the 14 village up. You really need a good food treasure, and even if you get a good food treasure, it's very likely you're still gonna have some idle time. So looking to get some coin here. Is getting a lot of food in the meantime, aging up with the Moroccans. So the Moroccans is a really unusual pick for age 2. It most likely means he's gonna go to H3. If we look at his deck, I think he's gonna have a Khan. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a Khan play, because he's gonna be looking at probably going up to H3 really quickly. So if you do face Hausa and you scout the Moroccan H up, he's almost always in a fast fortress. And we do see him like just focusing on coin and food here. He's gathering, I think, maybe a bit unnecessary much coin though, if you want to age really fast, because he's gonna be able to trade in that cattle. He's gonna get 700 coin in most likely, so he's gonna get a lot of coin from that actually. But he decides to go for the House of Kingdom builder, so good, getting some eco behind that. He's gonna get a TP wagon, probably gonna be looking at getting this TP just to get some XP. So he's gonna get a lot of XP, considering he's also getting XP for the H-up. But he hasn't gone for this XP treasure though, and I think he really wants to get that. And with this H-up, he's not really gonna be looking at building a war camp, so I think it's gonna be really difficult for him to take that treasure. And meanwhile, the British explorer can just use his crack shot, and he can grab this if Hausa isn't paying attention. So potentially a really big mess up here. Putting down the mosque quite forward. I would prefer having it further back, so you can have your university and palace here more in the front, but nevertheless, that's where it's gonna go. He is building this TP now, which is good, because he might actually see that the British explorer is gonna try to go for his treasure. So he decided to build a palace here. Great option, just getting some defense here to help him with HF, I think. Yeah, and there's 700 coin, and then also, meanwhile, getting some more eco with the influence. So he didn't see the British explorer there, but went for that TP. Meanwhile, what are Brits doing? Standard stuff here, sending in the wood, building some longbowman. He has a semi-forward base here. He's just putting out the map hack here on the map, getting these manor houses really far forward, which is exactly what you want to do as Brits. Preferably he would like to get some houses here on this side as well, to just really see all incoming raids. And I do think when you're playing against Brits, surely you would go for some cav in the beginning. I think making raiders in the beginning is really good versus Brits, because they never FF, which means they'll never have goons early, which means you can kind of just run them around and get really good value from. It's really safe to go heavy cavalry start versus Brits, and kind of force them to make musk early, which is also good. But nevertheless, we're gonna see the HUp. He probably had this in mind before actually playing this game, and as you can see, he does have the food now. The coin's being picked up. He's sending Gananchi, of course, because these guys shadow tech. He wants to get them in as soon as possible so we can start trading them. He doesn't have a war camp though. He probably wants to trade in wood now. He needs a house and he needs a war camp so we can start producing accounts as soon as that shipment comes in. And he might actually be able to use that shipment to take this really big XP treasure there, which would be really good for him, because he's going up to age 3 and he's gonna want to have XP to get those really juicy shipments in. He's gonna want to get like the 9 Fulani, the 5 Lefidis, and he's gonna want to get these really nice influence techs as well. Even going for the 5 Grits and 5 Wills is probably pretty good actually. And with the Brit player pushing in a bit there, he can't really do much against this fortress right now. He just doesn't have the mass to actually engage that. So that's good. But yeah, getting the pickup here from with the Explorer, that's really nice. Here's the Akan coming out. We're gonna see some Akan on the HF as well. And I think first shipment will probably be 1,000 influence. I mean, sending 1,000 influence, and then he will probably research imported cannons in the palace, and he will be looking at making 2 falconets, I think, and he'll be doing probably a bit of a later 2 falconet Akan push. It's really strong. Akan is one of the best musketeers in the game. When you have enough mass. They're really bad when you don't really have a lot of them, but as soon as you hit like 20 and upwards, they're actually incredibly good, because that area of effect really helps to not overkill as much and just kill more units. And especially versus light infantry, especially longbows with their super low health, they will just demolish them if they get in range. And if you do get the Lefidi shipment out to snare, it can be really deadly. So he does have a war camp now. He wants to get more accounts out, and he's gonna get accounts in Egypt, so he's gonna have a healthy amount of accounts here. So that's 16 accounts, starting to look pretty good. He is getting pressured here by the TP. I think he could honestly go there right away and take that down. He's doing import cannons, and just like I said, 1,000 influence coming in. So this is the standard Akan build, and if you guys want to learn more about the Akan build, there's many versions of it, but I do have a tutorial on that, so go check that video out if you haven't seen it. But we're gonna see how this guy uses that build. Yeah, he's gonna go try to protect this. He was a bit late to respond to this. I think if he responded earlier, he probably could have actually saved this. But now he lost a few seconds there in the beginning. It's gonna cost him. And he really wants to just run past this explorer so we can actually get the kills. He wanna just don't go for the explorer, and that's gonna cost him this trading post. I think he could have actually saved it there. So that's a bit unfortunate. Gathering up the influence, he has enough influence now to get a cannon, so yeah, that's what we're gonna see, a cannon coming out. I mean, he could even go for this tech and sell the cattle, although it's not really worth it because he doesn't really have much cattle at all at this point, so I guess he won't go for that. I mean, adding griots would also be a great option here, and I think next shipment will probably see 5 Lefidi, because he needs something to snare, right? In this composition, you want to go for the Akan, then you want a Lefidi to snare, you want cannons, of course, to deal with light infantry and things from range, and then you want the griots to help with that area effect and just stun high value targets. And that combination is really deadly. But right now he does have like way too much food and too little coin, so he really needs some coin, I think, to get some griots out and to get more account out. But now is his go time. That's the timing. So we're up at 10 minutes, and this is pretty much the time you get when you go for the Hausa FF. It's not as fast as a lot of the other civs, especially the Euro civs. But it is a bit stronger than most of the Euro civs because the Akans are just way better musketeers than normal musketeers, and they're already upgraded to H3. He even has like really good shipment options. He doesn't actually have the outlaw attack or the ranged infantry attack, which is a huge miss. I think you really want those cards if you're gonna go for an FF strategy. Like, why have the photo tactics in this deck? This could have been like 15% hit points and attack damage for the Akan instead. That would have been so much better. And he thought about taking this house out, but I guess he's gonna just smack in, go for it. There's a lot of longbows here. That's a scary amount of longbows. But the thing is, as long as he doesn't encounter any culverins, he's gonna be fine. Although Brits is up, and Brits have better eco. They have a healthy mass here, and his timing, his little window here is slowly dwindling away, because if there's two Falcons popping here and he manages to trade well with the Falconets, then it's going to be really difficult for Brits. And Brits has great coats in, but he doesn't have the tech from the home city, so not super tanky Wills, but he could definitely use the Wills. And now we see the Akan just going in. As you can see, the Akans are really good versus longbows if they just are in range. So a bit of a weird micro here from the Brit player. The Brit player really wants to stand on a long distance, and trading the cannons for the longbows is probably actually a good idea, because he got the other cannons down. So the Akan really don't have a counter here, which means he's gonna probably be able to kill everything that Brits got right now. And I think if Brits just kept those longbows alive, he probably would have been able to hold this actually, but he kind of just dove in with the longbows, which is really not what you want to do versus Akans, because Akan will trade extremely well with longbows if they're in range. And killing the last musketeers here, we do have a lot of villagers escaping there. You kind of want to take some units and just run around your base. Like, if you win a big decisive fight here in H3, you definitely want to like spread your units out, go with a few musk here and there, and try to find all of these villagers and just cause mayhem. Because with Brits, as you can see, their villagers always gonna be like a bit everywhere, because they have so many villagers and they kind of tend to just pop up near houses, which means it's usually Brits player would just put them on whatever resource is closest. But we do see some more longbows coming out, and now he's gonna have a hard time because he doesn't really have anything to snare. The cannons are not really forcing his opponent to come close. But yeah, a bit of a miss micro there by the Brit player again, and if he just pushes with the Akan now, he can do a lot of damage, I think. But he's gonna decide to move back again. He could use the Explorer, but he doesn't really have a lot of health, so I think in this position it's still looking good for Brits because of their economy lead. But if they do lose some bills here in the next minute or so, it's gonna be tough. So we do have the 9 Falanis coming in, and we do have some javelins as well. So not deciding to train Akans, which is kind of interesting. Don't know what the decision making behind that. He doesn't even have the upgrade for the javelins. I don't think he needs more anti-cav because he has a healthy amount of Akans. So don't really know why. And he's also decided to train some Lefidis. Lefidis are really expensive units. Like, this is one of the questions I get asked from time to time. Like, what about Lefidi Knights? Personally, I don't think it's worth building Lefidi Knights. I mean, in some situations, sure. With the Akan, it can be worth it. Because they synergize so well with the Akan. But generally speaking, Lefidi Knights are just way too expensive for what they are. And in most situations, Raiders is just a better bet. They deal more damage comparison to their cost. They're faster. And they can also siege buildings. They're just a lot more versatile in most situations. Although with Akan, because you really want, you more or less only have them for the snare and not the damage. An argument could be made that Lefidis are better with Akan than Raiders. Which is kind of true. So in this case, I guess it's gonna help him, but yeah, we'll see. So the Brit player just focusing all out here on longbows. He needs more anti-cav. Like, he has nothing to body block. He needs like a few musketeers or some pikemen or more goons. Like, this is the only anti-cav he has. So I think if there's something that's gonna kill him, it's the lack of anti-cav. Meanwhile, we see a very nice composition here from Hausa. It's very very diverse. He has a lot of different options, and he doesn't really have a specific weakness. Picking up this treasure is nice, but we're starting to get to that point where the treasure doesn't make as big of a difference. But he will definitely get it, or maybe not actually. Maybe it won't even be enough for his next shipment. We'll see. Floating a lot of resource here. He could get like huge patches of Amtecab here. Yeah, five more coming out. But getting caught here, and he might lose a few units. No, he was ready to move away from that. Then I wonder if you have Furio Tactics. We do get the upgrade for the Fulani now. I mean, Furio Tactics would be really nice because yes, to take down these light infantry units. Few stray villagers here. I wonder where the next hunt is. There is a few hunted animals here, but other than that, it doesn't really have a lot of hunts. So if this game progresses and Hausa manages to contain here, he could actually starve Brits and actually win that way. But we'll see what happens. He's a bit indecisive here. He doesn't really know what he wants to do. He has unpacked his cannon here. He's a bit afraid to push into all of this, and I mean, there is a logic behind that. The pathing is very difficult here, of course. I think right now Hausa's army is looking a lot stronger, but I think it's gonna come down to unit micro. I wonder if the Brit player has the ranged upgrade. Yeah, Yeoman, yeah, he has. So this upgrade is actually really huge. It's gonna help him a lot in this fight, and getting a Cove as well is huge. If he can get that Falconet down before the fight starts, that would be just huge. And looks like he is. And now he just needs to focus fire on the Lefidi Knights. These Javelin Riders aren't very difficult for him to deal with, so he doesn't really have to kill those. It's just important that all of his goons needs to kill the Lefidis, and then he just needs to keep backing up, I think. And the Culverin did its work. It doesn't really matter if he loses it now. Now he just needs to back up, fire with the longbows, and back up and fire with the longbows, and so on. Yeah, and I think he survives this quite easily. There just isn't anything to snare, and there isn't any cannons. There's like nothing really countering the longbowmen anymore. So yeah, this is looking really good for the Brit player, I think. And he's getting a really large amount of dragoons here as well. So yeah, I think Hausa just needs more cannons. He needs cannons so that the Brit player starts to really engage. When he doesn't have any cannons, as you can see, Brits can just stay on range and shoot from afar. Meanwhile, we do see a lot of people going for this herd. I wonder if Hausa sees this. So, remember, when the game starts to progress like this, you have to think about constantly, where is he hunting? You see this, okay, there's 2 animals left here. Surely he's hunting something more than that. You know that he's not here. So you have to think, okay, is he down here in this position? Maybe. And now it's starting to look scary. We have an H-up coming in for Hausa. He's down in military. So the question is, can he make it work with this H-up? He's going for the fast H-up, and those accounts gonna shadow take. So he just needs to keep those accounts alive, and it's really dangerous to go this route. I would definitely go on the long way around. Yeah, he's gonna change his mind, it looks like. So I think he's gonna get the H-up in. He needs to just run away until he has the H-up, and I think he should be training accounts now, because those are gonna be upgraded. He wants to utilize that free shadow tech. Meanwhile, he hasn't really expanded much on the different resources. He's scared to use this hunt, I think. And yeah, he aged up with the Ruba. That's always the age up you take the H4 there, honestly. Isn't any other option. Getting some more Fulanis. Really taking in a lot of Fulani. I think that's a mistake. The Fulanis are just really bad compared to the longbows. So you'll never take good trades versus longbows with Fulani. It's more or less impossible, unless you're like, your whole deck has to be made for that, and you have to get the Fulani H-up with the Fulani tech that costs 1,000 influence. So I think it's a mistake going for too many Fulanis here. Training 1,600 influence, training Mamelukes. That's actually good. I mean, it's either that or cannons. Personally, I would have went for cannons. I think this Syndra is even better with the accounts, but I mean, Mamelukes is nice. If he manages to get enough of them so that he can get the snare in, then he could actually just kill all of those longbows with that kind of thing. It's gonna come down to like one big fight, probably. It's starting to get close to that point. Like, looks like British players is just creeping in here, and Can't use the Royal Banquet because he just has one cow left though, so he cannot get a big buff in influence except for this 1600 of course, so oof, it's gonna be difficult. And his house as well, maybe? No? Okay, only got 2, he could have gotten a 3 there. The question is, does he get a full batch after that? Maybe. He probably wants to train some raiders, or like either train some raiders or the Feedy Knights, because he wants to water these guys down. He needs more stuff that can snare, I think. He needs to have enough heavy calves so they don't just get shot down before he connects. So it's really gonna come down to that, I think. And looks like he is gonna get a full batch of Mamluks, so he's probably gonna have like 7 Mamluks actually. So that's gonna be huge, and he's getting the upgrade for the Fulani and also for the Javelin, so that's also really, really good. But he's floating a lot of food. He needs to be training stuff. He needs to put more people on coin here, and or just honestly sell some food. At this point, sell some food, go for like a shitload of accounts, and he's gonna lose so many villagers now, yeah. He needs to make something happen now, because after this raid he's gonna be so behind in eco. He could actually go for the push now, because he knows that all the anti-cav is here. If he gets a nice connect with the Mamelukes now, he could honestly kill like the whole Longbow mass without these being present. And the question is, where are those Longbows? Let's see. Okay, they're way in the back here. Yeah, the Brit player is just really scared of losing his Longbows right now, so he did the right thing. He didn't do a mistake here. Maybe he even sees the Mamelukes now, but I think there's gonna be a tough fight to win for Hausa. I think he needs at least one more batch of cav, even if it is Lefidis or Raiders, but he needs he needs more cav, I think. But it's gonna come down to micro once again. Like, if he gets a good connect, and if he gets a lot of damage with the can, if he gets in range, it will be huge. So he's going for the TC. Good call. I think he just wants the Brit player to get a reaction from the Brit player. He knows he's on a timer here. Sending the Kororofa Confederacy, so that's actually the cav he needs. Like, if he sends those to the front now, he could actually get a huge connect there. And these guys, remember, these guys are insanely good versus light cavalry, because they have that infantry multiplier, and they have a negative multiplier against heavy infantry, which means that they're basically like extra good versus light infantry essentially. So they will melt longbowmen if they manage to get connect. But we do see the H-up coming in here for Brits, so but Brits doesn't really have any of the upgrades yet, surely. So it's still like the units from House is gonna be a lot stronger. All of these units are H4 units, and we are seeing the upgrades coming in. I think House just needs to connect. He needs to stop sieging this. He just needs to connect before all of the upgrade comes in. He knows that the rockets are on the way. He knows that the upgrades are on the way. He needs to just run up with everything right now. And looks like he's gonna kill the cannons really quickly now. Yeah, and I don't think there's enough anti-cav here. Like, I think Brit player is really underestimating having something to body block. It's always really important when you go for the longbow comp. You need something to body block, because goons can't really body block. They will get wrecked by the units that counter them if they get up in melee. So you need pikemen with this composition. You need walls for pikemen, and yeah, as you can see, it's a wipe. It's a complete cleanup. The account will just wreck the longbows when they're this close, and we're gonna see the rockets coming in now. But the rocket's not gonna be able to do too much. He can just run away here, and there's only really goons left. And I think at this point also a lot of the natural rest gonna start to dwindle from the map, which means that villager lead that Brits have probably not gonna be as huge. But we do see Brits still up in score. He has 61 villagers, but versus 36. So the eco lead for Brits is huge right now. I think Hausa needs to get some raids. He needs to run around the map. He needs to look for the dead carcasses. He needs to put some units up here. He needs to go down with some units here. And we do see walls coming up. So this might go to the long game at this point. If he can't make something work now, this might be a very long game. And he's sending the 8 Lefidis. Unfortunately, they're not upgraded. They're still H2 Lefidis. So yeah, not a very impressive unit right now. He's training loads of Lefidis, which is a really good option, I think, because once again, if he gets the connect, he can get a really good trade. Goons moving forward here, but yeah, I don't think these 3 rockets is enough to deal with this infantry. I think he's gonna lose all of his rockets. I mean, yeah, the British player just being really cocky here. and losing so many dragoons. I don't think he wants to be trading with these dragoons. There's a lot of light infantry just shooting all the dragoons, and these extra cavalry units coming in now is gonna make short work of those units. And he does get a culverin, but there's nothing for this culverin to do because Hausa's just went full into hand cavalry as he should. So this is how you beat the skirm goon, with the musk and hand cav. I guess he has some light infantry as well, but just once you get the connect with the account, they will just demolish everything. You see even the griot coming in now, and this culverin is just not being able to do anything. And once again we see a decisive victory here from Hausa. He's still down in score though, so this definitely isn't over. He's gonna get a lot of bill kills here. Look, this is gonna be like a triple kill or something, I think. Come on, shoot! Oh, the wrong villager. If you shot this villager, you definitely get like a triple kill. And now Brit player is gonna lead him right to this TC, and I don't think the Brit player has anything to stop him from just demolishing this TC. Actually, he already sent the 3 rockets, so I don't think there's too many strong shipments that he can send. And Hausa sending the 10 villagers now. This is a really good shipment. If you get to age 4 with Hausa, just send this shipment over and over again. It's basically your factory shipment. Just send 10 vills, 10 vills, 10 vills. Just put them on random resource and you'll have so much rest coming in. So going up to 49 villagers, 50 now. And let's look at the stats of these guys. So 24 attack, 1.5 fire rate, 13 attack, 1.5. So as you can see, the longbows will wreck the Fulani. But the Fulani obviously have the nicer firing animation. That's what they have going for them. But yeah, the long was just such a good unit in comparison. Once again, Brit player not really having too much anti-cav here, and I think he's gonna lose a lot of units for it. And those goons are really expensive. Now he's got another reinforcing batch, so maybe he can actually take this now. Not if these units join though. And if once this TC is gonna go down, I think there's a lot of villagers inside here. Yeah, popping out a lot of wills, but accounts are really good at killing wills. They have quite high damage, 30 damage. So they're gonna be able to kill a lot of stuff here. And there's a lot of wills just running around. He has this account, he just spotted those wills there. So looking really good actually. Still wills in the TC, but yeah, Hausa player deciding to move back, and I think he's gonna go for these wills instead. He just needs to get the snare with the cavalry here. He desperately needs to upgrade the Lefidi Knights. He lost a lot of Lefidi Knights before getting any upgrades in, which is really bad. Meanwhile trying to kill some wills there. He's still a bit afraid of the goons though. The goons are keeping him at a distance. Yeah, this is turning out to be a really long game actually, and yeah, it's looking really close. I don't know who's in the lead now. I mean, Hausa is definitely creeping up there with the Eco 53 vills, and Water Brits on 53. So the vil graph is dead even. I do still think that Brits probably has the economy lead though, because they tend to have better upgrades, and especially their farms are just miles ahead. And he does have one factory, another factory coming out, and Hausa has like no influence coming in here. As a Hausa, you really want to put down more universities and palaces as the game progresses. Those are really good for your late game eco, and you also really want to get this transhumans tech in. It's really good in the late game when you do get a lot of cattle, and you want to maximize, get all of the cattle out, all 20. And he is putting down another TC here, but I think he needs more influence generation. Because if he can get a good influence income, then he can either make Mamelukes and just spam those, or he can get a lot of cannons. And I think those are the 2 units that he needs right now to win this fight. And that's what helped him before. So we're gonna see a raid coming in here, but he's gonna spot it in time, so that's good. I wonder if he's gonna move these villagers back. Probably not. We do have 5 Lefidis coming out here. Still hasn't gone for the upgrade. I mean, this guy, he really doesn't like the elite hand cavalry upgrade. I mean, this is so cheap. Why don't you just get it? And maybe I'll catch some units here, but yeah, not really. Might be able to kill one, I guess. But he is getting a few Lefidis out. He just needs to get the upgrades for them. Sending 10 vills again. So I think after that shipment, Hausa is actually going to have more villagers than Brits. And he is on natural resource. This TC here is huge actually. Getting this part of the map is really good for him. He really wants to secure this coin mine as well. Getting this TP would also be really nice. This is actually a really good TP. The fort is really good. it would be so nice to get that out. Yeah. Or is this the one that gives you a fort builder? Maybe not actually. Maybe this just upgrades it. I think there's a tech that gives you a fort wagon as well. Maybe that's another one. Yeah, and the Ascari is actually also a really good unit. Super valuable unit. Though for his composition might not be that great. But it could be a really good option for a Brit player actually, as a sort of an anti-cavalry unit that can just tank a lot of damage and stand with his longbows. Where is that? So the longbow mass just hanging out here in the back of the base. I think, yeah, Brit's really scared at this point. He's playing really passive. He's mostly using his goons at this point. He's just hoping and praying he can get a good raid with the goons, I think, and then just hope that he outbooms in the meantime. But he doesn't know that he's actually probably under in villagers. Yeah, 60 vills versus 70. So Hausa actually up 10 vills for the first time. He was down like 30 vills, and he's just gotten all of that back. I think Brits probably struggle a lot with food. These dragoons are just so expensive in food cost. So that kind of probably restricted his ability to make villagers, and he's not really gonna get many raids here. And yeah, now finally going for that upgrade for the Lefidis. It's gonna be really nice, but yeah, these farms are terrible. 0.60, yikes. And look at this, 0.77. So also they take so much time to just put them out and stuff. So if this game progresses too long and all the natural rest here starts running out, then it's gonna look bad for Hausa again. But I think he does have a lot of time. He also has the Gatling camel shipment. That's gonna be a big power spike at some point. He has the Center Horseman, still a good shipment. He can still just send 10 vills over and over again. I mean, Durbar Parade is a great shipment. So, I mean, there's a lot of good shipments for Hausa. Meanwhile, we see Brits going full rockets. He does have the Akan, so he could actually also go for the Akan if he wants to. Don't know if that's worth it though. He does have the Musk upgrades left send, but like he doesn't really have much to send in H4. So in terms of shipments, it is looking good for Hausa still, I think. But yeah, this is really bad. Losing a lot of bills here for free. So that's a bit unfortunate. Can he take this trade? That's the question. He needs to get calls out, and I think because Hausa didn't really invest much into influence, he just cannot get calls out. This is why you need to put down universities, and you need to put down palaces, and you need to get max amount of cattle, because if you don't, you're gonna struggle to make culverins. And I think this fight's gonna be really difficult for House. I don't think he's gonna be able to clutch this one, because there's just too many rockets here. Although the Brit player really needs to focus his rockets on this bowman. He's not really targeting the right thing. But yeah, I think it's still gonna be good for Brits, maybe. Yeah, and getting the Easter Riders here, they're basically like Minutemen, so you can train them really fast. If you have a palace close to a fight, always just pop them out. They're really expensive though, but yeah, that's gonna clutch it for him actually. Those made a huge difference in that fight, and it's actually gonna be able to take out everything, but it did cost him a lot. And the question is he gonna survive decisively enough to actually take this home? He doesn't really have much left in the tank, and he doesn't really have anything to counter these rockets, and now because he bought those Easter Riders, he cannot get culverins. He doesn't have the influence to get culverins. Maybe in this position it would even be worth it to do the Royal Banquet as a way to get 2 culverins out quickly, because if he can't get culverins, then I think he loses the game. I think Brits can actually push here. I think in Brits' position, because you don't see any calls, I think you just push. Just utilize your rockets and just push with those. As long as Hausa can't get culverins, then you're really safe to just take in full into the rockets. And I think he probably wants to add musketeers as well to protect the rockets. Because goons are not an optimal unit to protect rockets with. It's better to have musketeers. Especially Brits have so many good upgrades for the musketeers. They have the blacksmith and everything. So yeah, going for that would probably be really good. We do see Lefidi Knights. He is standing very close to this palace though. Yeah, so we do see some SO Riders coming out again, but he really needs to time that together with the rest of his army. Yeah, he cancelled those actually. Maybe he'll train them again. We'll see. You see some more Fulanis coming down from here. But yeah, he doesn't have a good way of dealing with these rockets. He really needs to get culverins out, and he just cannot get culverins out. And that's a bit unfortunate, attacking the wrong thing with the SO Riders here. He could have definitely killed a rocket there if he micro that better. He does have some Lefidis coming out, but they again attacking the wrong thing. We do see some bills here going on, punching down the rockets. So he's gonna get probably all those 3 rockets, but it's not gonna be enough. There's another one coming here, and there's still so many goons left. Using the griots on the rockets though is really huge. You definitely wanna do that, and he's gonna be able to kill these, it looks like, but yeah, it's just not gonna be enough. And that's that game, guys. And I think at the end of the day, it came down to him just not expanding the universities. Like, if he would have been like, if he would have added the universities as he went by, putting a university, a palace down here, securing this resource earlier, getting influence, and then putting a university here, and then maybe expanding to this side. Even putting a university here, like, even without a TP, it's just really good, because you want to get that influence generation. It's so important, because if you don't have influence, then you're not going to be able to make culverins, and you will get wrecked by rockets. So, lesson learned there, guys. If you're struggling against rocket spam like this, it's because you have too poor influence generation, and you really need a balanced economy. You need influence. Because it's just so expensive to put Lefidis into the fight constantly. But I think it probably wasn't over at that point. I think he still had a chance. He was up in economy probably. Let's look at the villager graph. Yeah, look at this. Losing a lot of vills here actually. Shit, that was a huge raid there. Yeah, but then like gaining it all back here, and yeah, killing a lot of stuff as well from his opponent here. So yeah, that's pretty incredible. Like, being down, imagine being down like 20 wills at 8 minutes and then just somehow clawing it back and actually being on top of the will graph there at the end, and also taking like really good trades throughout. This trade here was insane, such a good trade. And I mean, this trade was also insane, and I mean, even this last trade wasn't actually too bad. It was probably pretty equal. Let's look at the rest. Yeah, so he is struggling here with the rest, understandably, but I think Hausa has better units, so it's okay to struggle with the rest, because you are gonna trade better as Hausa, especially if you go with the Akan comp, because the Akan are just so damn good in the late game. But yeah, big mistake also not having the upgrade card for the Akan. If you're going for the Akan strategy, it's super important to have the Sahelian Kingdoms and also the team ranged damage upgrade. Those 2 cards are absolutely crucial. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that game, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.